I'm recording from my end, so
Great.
we're good on that. Okay, well, welcome everybody to the Town of Bluff Planning and Zoning Regular Commission meeting. Today is Thursday, February 6th, 2025. We're meeting virtually, and the time is 6:02 p.m. for us to start our meeting. So we'll begin with a roll call of Planning and Zoning Commissioners. This is Amanda Podmore, Chair.
Marcia Haydenfeld.
Brian Whitney.
Malia Collins.
Thank you. And anybody from Town Council?
Luann Hook.
Thanks, Luann, and welcome everybody else to our meeting tonight. We do have a big agenda this evening. We'll do our best to get through it in a timely manner. And we will begin, as always, with the opportunity for a public comment. People can make a comment up to 3 minutes in length. Please raise your hand or speak up if you'd like to make a public comment. Okay, hearing none, I will go ahead and close the public comment period, and we'll move on to approval of meeting minutes from our January 2nd regular meeting. Leah, are you good to pull those up on the screen?
Sorry, I realized I was mute and I said yes. Here they are.
Yeah.
Can you see my thumbs up, Amanda?
No, I didn't see any comments in them, but will you walk folks through if there are any comments?
Sure. I didn't see any either. I looked through it.
I move to approve the minutes of Thursday, January 2nd, 2025 as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
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 Aye. Great, minutes approved. I will note that I haven't yet seen minutes from the joint session that we had on, I believe it was January 14th. So I've requested those to make sure we can all see them. And then the recording of that was only like 20 minutes long, and I believe the meeting was longer than 20 minutes. Is that correct?
I'm not sure it was much longer, was it? Because we only had a few comments and then we went into our meeting. So I'm not sure that it was much more than that, but you could check with the town council and see how theirs, see what they registered. Was
okay. I will.
Yeah. No, was the meeting under town council joint or planning and zoning joint? I think it was town council, wasn't it?
It was town council.
Yeah. Okay.
Amanda,
So,
would you like a draft of that? I have the draft.
Sure. Yeah. Can you email that to us?
Yes.
Thank you.
We just found it on the town website. And it's a pretty fast one.
Yeah, it looks like we adjourned at 5:38.
Yeah, started at 5:02.
Yeah, for some reason the recording is like 23 minutes, so I listened to the recording, but the beginning had been cut off, so I just wanted to get those minutes. So okay. We are all set then on that. Why don't we go ahead and move on to item 1 under old business, which is update from town council. So Luann, we can pass that over to you.
Okay, so you all met January 2nd, and then we hadn't had a meeting, but then we met the 7th, the 14th, the 21st, the 28th, and February 4th. One of those was a joint meeting with you all, but I tried to skim them down, but you can ask any questions if you like. One thing that Planning and Zoning needs to do, if you haven't already, is do the OPMA training, the Open and Public Meetings Act. There should be a link that you can just plug that in. Make sure you get that one back to Aaron. We had a UDOT revised road list that we worked with the county and got that sent off. So we have our roads are updated as what's gravel, and then we get a certain amount of money from each of those roads to help maintain them. We also had Calf Canyon, Jones and DeMille is working on that repair over on the way to the pond. They're not working on it yet, but anyway, that's still in the process. So that's road department things. The building inspector, Ben Tomko, is not anymore. So there's no news on that from our end. We're all on the same place of we don't know where that sits, but it does affect land uses and things. The designation application for the International Dark Skies was submitted, and that's a big thanks to Aaron and Sarah and Diana. They got that all in, and so now it's in the shuffle. So we'll see what they do with it, but it sounds positive. They don't really take applications unless we're going to get approved. So, but there's a few things they'll follow up with. I think we were third in the queue of getting looked at. The solar panels from Monticello that were donated are in Bluff now and ready to put up where they become determined that we best could use them. And then back to some detail stuff, code of conduct. We're looking at our code of conduct. And then I think she said this in our joint meeting, but she'd really like you all to look at your bylaws and see how they are. She would like you to look at them, and then we can all do whatever updating we need to do on the bylaws. Let's see. We did vote to offer the bid to Uncommon Architects for the school redevelopment. We're trying to get the certificate of occupancy, so that's moving forward. And there was a meeting today where they all came to town and started that process. So that was awesome. They seem like a great group. And then I believe Malia possibly is working with our mayor to develop a table or a chart of all of our ordinances in the effort to get the enforcement kind of procedures lined out, like what we do on which ones and which ones need some backing to make them more enforceable or whatever. And then we did vote to accept Rural Utah Project Education Fund as our EPA grant pass-through for the old school. They will be the pass-through recipient and work with us on getting that done. So we basically they all saved the EPA grant to make that all be able to keep going, which also impacted the USDA grant. And it's a little bit on pause. It went through a short pause with the grant pausing, but then it went back in. So anyway, it seems like it's going along as well as can be. Sarah Burak wants to apply for Utah Division of Recreation Playground grant. They're a new group that's just doing playgrounds now. So we encourage her to move forward on that. It'll be kind of mid-March or something when we look at it and submit a grant. And it would be for the community center, not ready at the old school yet, but could do some looking at a pickleball court and a little extra playground area. Then the general plan, this applies to you all somewhat. There's some new Utah code that's wanting water use to be included on how you're preserving it and where you're using it and all of that kind of thing. So that's all on that. I mean, other details, but we do have some things to look at there. And then Bluff Waterworks strategic planning is still in the works. They been having a lot of discussion on secondary water and got a little bit diverted from the town council really wants them to stay focused on, becoming a water department. They were hopeful, or a couple of them anyway, that maybe if we did a secondary water system, it would show some more effort or something, but we've been referring back to the strategic plan, and the strategic plan is to make the whole thing run a little more smoothly. And there's not the big push to do secondary right now, but that group is still meeting, and they still have a couple more meetings before their strategic planning is done. Their goal is to make sure it's sustainable, that we all get water delivered, that even if one person isn't here, we still can carry on, billing can carry on, whatever. So and that was it. Sorry it was so long, but it's been a few topics. But did any of you have a question for me, Marcia?
There, magic buttons. I have two quick questions. One, is UDB still officially discussed as a partner with the town, but Rural Utah Project is a money partner? Is that kind
Exactly.
of? Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. UDB is still definitely the ownership partner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
there's
then,
still-
okay, so it's sort of semantics and how it works. Kind of
Yes,
thing.
and the Rural Utah Project was listed as a supporting group on the application, on the EPA grant and
okay.
stuff. So they were already part of our application, which
Great.
made it to where they could say, yeah, we can help get this part done and get the building functional when
Great.
the other group wasn't able to do that right now. And we had to move on the grant or
Oh,
lose
I
it.
know.
So
Okay, good. And then the other question I have for you is, do we have a most complete roadmap of the town with regard to, the things that have always driven us crazy about, is that a road, is that an alley, is that a whatever? Do we have an actual roadmap?
we do, because the roads are, they're all lined out on the road map that the Brad Bunker helped to put together with Michael Havoc. And so that's all in color coded for gravel, dirt, pavement.
And where is the access to that map? Is it online? Is it just with Erin or what? And
That's a good question. I'm not really sure. That's a good question.
Okay.
And the part that with the alleys and whatnot, that's part of the quit claim deed from the county to the town of Bluff. And those are all lined out, and then they describe the ones that the county gave away.
Right.
They gave away some buffers and some some alleys, but
right.
but I don't know where it is. Yeah.
I'm just asking because when oftentimes during our meetings, we sit there with is this a road? Is this a street? Is this an alley? So it'd be nice if there were access for planning and zoning and or the public. That's up to the town, but it seems to me there must be a way for us to have it like we have the zoning maps available, that kind of thing. So it might be something to present between us.
Let's see. It's on resolution number 59
Right.
on the list of resolutions on the town of Bluff. That one has all the alleys and the plat there. If you go to that one's got the attachments, but it does not have our new one that says what's gravel and what's paved and what's not. And that only refers to the Cottonwood subdivision. It does not talk about like the Butler Wash little parts that we have, and it doesn't talk about the Bluff Bench Road. It just says, but that's on resolution 59.
Okay. I will look there, but we don't have to go any further tonight in this meeting. I'm just suggesting that there's got to be a way for us to be able to use a good map to help us through planning and zoning. I'll stop now. Thanks.
Yep. No, that's a good point, and we can get the other uploaded, I'm sure. So anybody else have a question?
Oh, this is Amanda. Thank you, Luann. That was a big update. We appreciate all the work you all have been doing. It's been a busy couple of weeks for you. And so, Marcia, I can follow up on the roads map. And then I wanted to confirm that I will be working on the bylaws. Erin had set a deadline for planning and zoning for the end of February. So I think the plan is to have a draft at our work session later this month. So just confirming that.
Perfect.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Anything
Any other
else?
questions? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Luann.
Yeah, thank you.
We can move on to item 2, update on the draft RV ordinance from the town attorney. So as you'll remember, we finished a draft that we sent to the town attorney in early January for him to review. We have not heard back from him, so we have not been able to discuss edits, but the mayor is going to follow up with him. She's concerned about keeping attorney fees reasonable, but she is hoping to help us advance that. So I don't know if we'll have a copy for our next work session, but hope that's what we're hoping for. Any questions on that?
No, thank you. That was great.
Sounds good.
Cool. Okay, then item 3, update on enforcement discussion with the town attorney. Leah, it sounds like you're working on a matrix or table of the ordinances. Do you want to speak to this one?
Sure. You know me and my tables. So what this is, it's actually an Excel document that Mayor Lepinetta decided she wanted to put together. And it has all of the all of the ordinances spelled out, and then what we're doing for enforcement, basically to make it an easy reference of if this ordinance is not not followed, then this is the enforcement. And basically it's just going to make it easier for town council as well as us to take a look at that and determine, is it reasonable? Do we want to edit any of these? Because I think that's kind of the hope at this point, is make it pretty general across the board of what we're going to do. Because at this point, when we put that together and Ann and I looked at it, we were like, it is all over the board. So it does need a little bit of work, just because there were so many different ideas for enforcement for different things. So it's nice to have it all in that one document so that we can figure out exactly what the severity should be for each of them. If that
Great.
makes
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, consistency will help
Yeah,
help us, it will help the public understand things. So
right.
do you need do you need help working on that spreadsheet next week?
I think it's pretty much done at this point. So
Okay.
I'll keep you posted, but thank you.
Amanda, Luann has raised a hand, please, for this.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Luann. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just a quick comment. We did talk about having a link to each of the ordinances right on that Excel sheet. And I don't, just a hopeful reminder that would help all of us viewing it if we can just click on it and see it and then see the comments. But yeah, that's awesome that you're helping her. Thank you.
You're welcome. And the links are already on there.
Woohoo. Awesome. Thank you, Malia. That is so helpful.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. Anything else under enforcement today?
I didn't think so.
Not over here. Thanks for making a table.
You know it.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Then let's move on to item 4 under new business, land use clearance applications. We don't have any today that we're reviewing. Do folks know of any coming down or any comments from commissioners on this item?
Nope.
I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
Neither have I.
Great. And as a reminder to the public, land use clearance applications are due 2 weeks before our meetings, and we have lots of good information online. So wonderful. Okay, we are ready to move to item 5, interviews for Planning and Zoning Commission. We have one spot available on the commission, and so we have 2 candidates right now, Ann Brown and Gary Haws. Is Ann on the line?
Everybody's here, Amanda.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ann, for joining us tonight. If you're good with it, we'll go ahead and jump into questions for you. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful.
Just for clarification, excuse me, Amanda, I'm sorry. Just for clarification, we're
Cool.
going to ask Ann all of her questions and then finish and ask Gary all of his. Is that correct?
Yes, I was just going to, yeah, exactly. And then,
I was going to say that.
no, perfect. And we did have a 3rd candidate drop out, so it's just the 2 this evening. And I apologize, I forgot to put our actual vote on tonight's agenda, so we'll have to host a special meeting maybe later in our work session later this month to vote on our recommendation to town council. So apologies to folks that we can't make a decision tonight, but this will give us time to weigh everything that the candidates share with us.
Yeah.
Any other procedural clarification questions? Nope. Okay, so back to you, Ann. I'll start with the first question. Can you please tell us why you are qualified for the Planning and Zoning Commission?
Absolutely. I've built, renovated, and restored many homes in towns, including Bluff. with a wide variety of permit processes. This includes helping develop a process plan in a small island community in British Columbia, where there were none to begin with. In the 70s and 80s, I worked with two major Midwest commercial real estate developers, Miller Valentine Group and Prudential Real Estate, as a consulting retail project manager. So when I speak in the future about C2 and C3 development, I'm speaking from the other side of that coin, and to me, that's quite important. And I'm very organized. I have a strong attention to detail, and I believe strongly in community planning.
Perfect. Thank
you,
you.
Ann.
What are 1 to 3 issues you would work to address if you were on the Planning and Zoning Commission?
Well, my main concern is Bluff's vulnerability to unplanned development. Currently, we have undeveloped residential zones with potential in certain native artifacts and burial grounds. Obviously, these are all over town, specifically right behind me. And a big issue is the C2 and C3 properties, such as Nancy Summers, which at some point will be sold. And I'm very concerned about having that planned, have plans in the works and be proactive rather than reactive. And I believe in that we need to bring mixed use, work-live development to town when there is that possibility. And another issue I'm very concerned about is pushing forward the transportation corridor plans that I've gone to some meetings about over the last couple of years, and don't feel like, at least as a member of the public, I know what's happening there. And quite frankly, I don't even know if that's part of planning and zoning, so I apologize if it isn't.
Awesome, thank you. And the next question is, what town values are important to you that planning and zoning work, that the Planning and Zoning Commission work to protect?
I think planning and zoning strengthens this community. It has a positive environmental and social impact. Specific pieces of that have been bringing Emory Telecom. It was a huge plus for us when we were considering buying our property. All of the night sky lighting ordinances. When I read through all the ordinances that you all have done over the last, I think, 5 years, maybe 6 years, it's pretty impressive.
Magic button again. Thank you, Anne. Can you tell us, can you give an example of a time when you, or an instance in which you helped resolve a conflict at work or during a professional, in your professional capacity?
Absolutely. Conflict resolution was the mainstay of my long-term job as associate publisher of 2 major art magazines. I was the go-between 6 national sales reps, the production department, the editorial staff. We produced a print publication every month, and everyone wanted something. Editorial wanted more time, production wanted it faster, sales wanted more space, and I predominantly worked in a remote workplace. Our whole company, 125 employees. And so at the beginning, pre-Zoom calls, I had a lot of multi-person calls between clashing parties. and to come up with harmonious, agreeable timelines, budgets, space requirements. So for me, it's open communications is key. I firmly believe in the only way to resolve conflicts is through open communication.
Fabulous. Thank you. This is a voluntary position that requires 1 to 4 hours a week of your volunteer time. Can you meet this commitment?
The short answer is yes. I'm not going anywhere. So, well, I am going places, but yay for remote calls.
All right, it's true. Zoom is very helpful. I guess Google Hangouts, I should say, which leads
Yes.
into the next question. This position requires checking email regularly and working in Google Docs and Microsoft Word on a weekly basis. Can you tell us about a project that you have completed on a computer?
Well, as you can imagine, I have almost 50 years of computer knowledge. That's when computers were the size of this room. But I pretty much know all Microsoft products, Word, Excel, all Google Docs, Adobe, Dropbox, photo editing, and have used Apple products since they were invented.
Great, thank you, Anne. Sounds like you know your stuff. So the last question we have for you is, are you a bona fide resident of Bluff? Meaning, is Bluff your principal place of residence?
Yes, it is. And I am very happy about that.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you, Anne. We really appreciate all that you shared with us tonight. Do you have any questions for us before we turn over to the next candidate?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Haws, are you still on the line?
I am.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us tonight. Are you ready for us to jump into questions?
Surely.
Great. Okay. So first question, can you please tell us why you are qualified for the Planning and Zoning Commission?
Okay, why? Well, I meet all of the qualifications listed on your website, but in addition to them, I bring common sense, neutrality, impartiality, objectiveness to each situation. I can make decisions based on the parameters governing the situations and not on my emotions. I also care. I also care about Bluff. I want Bluff to be the best it can be. Best for the town itself and best for the residents who call Bluff their home.
Thank you. What are 1 to 3 issues you would want to work to address if you were on the Planning and Zoning Commission?
Well, one of the first issues I'd want to work on to address is a mission statement there on the website of what the Planning and Zoning Commission is all about. Nothing that just, I mean, there's something that just jumps out on the website that says that. What their purpose is. Another issue, it sounds like, Malia, you've got a good handle on it, is the enforceability or unenforceability of some of our ordinances. Just because it says it, it doesn't always mean that it's so and can be enforced. And then who would be enforcing them? A lot of the ordinances, well, they couldn't be selective enforcement. It would have to be, across the board for everyone and be able to be enforced. And how that would apply to or relate to those who are grandfathered in or grandmothered in. A third area might be to look at the town ordinances to see if any are superfluous and need to be repealed. But take a good look at that. Those would be probably 3 areas I'd want to pursue and help with.
All right, thanks. Next question. What town values are important to you that the Planning and Zoning Commission work to protect?
Okay, there's another good spot that is town mission statement on their homepage would be a good thing that lists those values. It'd be, I mean, Bluff is a great town with all its natural beauty surrounding it. But I looked through the website and scanned everything, trying to find somewhere that listed Blufftown, the values for it. And I finally found it. It's very brief. It's 7 things or values, and they're buried deep in the Town of Bluff strategic plan. And so in looking at those 7 things, they were subject to, individual interpretation, didn't expound much. But the ones on there that I could see where planning and zoning work to protect would be sustainability would be one. If they're talking about sustainable, mindful growth within the town. Another one was ethical practices by being transparent. One other one was collaboration. Probably one of the most important on there, and working with and for the Bluff residents.
Thank you, Gary. Can you expound on a time that you helped resolve a conflict in your work or in professional environment?
Okay, well, I was in law enforcement for over 30 years, and I was called on constantly to resolve conflicts and issues between people that disagreed with each other in one way or another. Neighbors, family members, various people in the community. Those issues were resolved mostly by me getting those involved to collaborate with each other and come up with a mutually accepted outcome. Sometimes those involved wouldn't work together to solve it, and I would have to resolve it by taking one or more to time out. But there were numerous times where I was involved in trying to sort out and help people resolve their own problems.
I like the timeout. That's funny. This is a voluntary position that requires 1 to 4 hours a week of your volunteer time. Can you meet this commitment?
Yes. Like I said, I'm retired law enforcement, but I'm working as a activity and relief school bus driver for San Juan School District. But nothing I do there I can see could conflict in meeting this commitment. The only problem I could see is if I get discovered and have a future in an acting career because of our movie we made. But that's not likely.
All right, thanks. So if you get that career, bring me along with you. I'm looking to be an actor too. That sounds fun.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah. Right. All right. Now, next one is the position requires checking email regularly and working in Google Docs and Microsoft Word on a weekly basis. Can you tell us about a project that you have completed on a computer?
Yeah. I've written several letters, proposals, compiled lists, statements, reports, mission statements. I've even produced marriage licenses. One of the biggest projects I've undertaken was launching a website. I ran for Weber County Sheriff, and I had a website I had to create and update and maintain regularly over several months. The website was incredible in my humble opinion, but yeah, that was probably one of the biggest projects I've undertaken.
Websites are a lot of work, so congrats on that.
It can be a lot of headache.
Great. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so last question is, are you a bona fide resident of Bluff, meaning Bluff is your principal place of residence?
Yes, I'm a bona fide resident of Bluff, a true Bluffite or Bluffoon or whatever we call ourselves. My home and only residence is Bluff.
Great. Well, thank you. That wraps up our questions for you. Do you have any questions for us before we can let you go for now?
No, thank you so much.
Okay, great. So our plan, as I mentioned earlier, is our next work session is February 20th, I believe. And so I think what we will probably do is also call a special meeting at the beginning of that to call this vote. So thank you to our candidates tonight. We really appreciate your time. Any comments from commissioners or anything else?
Thank you.
Just thank you. Yeah, thank you both for taking the time to answer questions and to your interest in getting involved.
Thank you. We need people to step up in this town, and it's nice to see two of them at a time.
Agreed.
May we stay?
All right. Yes, you may stay on the line.
Darn it, we were going to talk about, oh no, you can stay.
Okay, so then let's move on to item, what number, on 6 on the agenda, which is talking about the Turquoise building that is currently being remodeled. And so tonight we're going to discuss building permit requirements and recommendations from planning and zoning. Is Sam Weldon on the line, just so I can know?
He was, but
I'm here.
oh, there he is.
Okay, okay, great, wonderful. Thanks. So we might call on you for some questions, Sam. So I want to give a little bit of background first. So the remodeling that's being done on the Turquoise building, the old gas station on Main Street, this first came to the Planning and Zoning Commission actually, I believe it was in 2023. And then in 2024, on March 20th, we had it on our regular meeting agenda. And at that meeting, based on what we learned about the proposed remodel, we suggested that, no, we didn't suggest, we voted that the building would need a building permit because of the electrical work that would be done. And we clarified that it did not require a land use clearance because it didn't trigger those requirements under our land use clearance and building code ordinances. Namely, the remodel is under 2,000 square feet, which under our ordinances is exempt from a land use clearance. But electrical, structural, roofing work, things of that nature still need a building permit in the county. So that is what we had decided last spring. Then it came to our attention over the fall when we were asking the county to give us updated list of building permits, active building permits, that the Turquoise did not have an active building permit. And so we began having discussions with the owner of the property, Sandy Myard and Sam, and the county let us know in January 2025 that a building permit was finally submitted, but it was not yet approved because they were still needing additional clarification. Specifically, the county building inspector had been over to the property and was concerned that an engineer needed to look at a few things and needed a letter from, and that the building needs a letter from an engineer before the building permit can be issued. Secondly, the county wanted to clarify whether or not a land use clearance was needed. And thirdly, the county would like to know whether or not building permit fees should be doubled, since a lot of work has been done without a building permit. So I think this is, I wanted to just share all that to summarize to start our discussion for tonight. Marcia or Malia, do you want to talk about the walkthrough that you all did today with Sam?
Marsha, I'll let you take it.
Okay, sure. Sam was kind enough to contact us to say he'd be happy to open the door and let us see what was going on. And I would like to clarify before I talk about that this was very impromptu. It was two of us, so there was no quorum. And so this was not a planning and zoning site review so much as a walkthrough by two planning and zoning commissioners just for knowledge, just so we could say, yes, we saw some 2x4s on the walls, and we saw some bathroom updates, and we saw some lighting updates. So I guess my take on what I saw was that there's definitely been a lot of work done. That said, we do in fact have paperwork saying we didn't need the LUC, meaning that the town of Bluff didn't need to sign off on anything. However, that same information was that the county would in fact need to inspect electrical, plumbing, whatever is under normal inspection. So what I saw today was some electrical and some other things that keyed that inspection process. I was grateful for Sam taking the time to just, be able to show us what was done there. I think that so that ends my take on what we saw. My comment would be that what I'd like to do is see us turn this over to the county for continuing their process, meaning they are the ones requiring an engineer's document. That's good. They need that. Then they have to have it. There was a roof question and some other things. All of those things that they want answered must be answered. Then part two of that comment was the penalty, as it were, of doubling their fees or whatever. That too, in my opinion, is up to them because that's part of their permit process. We discussed it recently on what we're doing about enforcement, but we're not there yet. And since we're not enforcing the particular item in question, which is a building permit, then I say our position should be we're allowing the county to take the next steps of what they want to do for this building situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia.
Well said. Thank you, Marcia. I actually don't think I have anything to add to it. I agree that it is not on planning and zoning at this time, that it is up to the county how they want to handle this. And it was a pleasure walking through the Turquoise today. Thank you, Sam.
I'm glad to have you guys. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks. And Brian, anything you want to weigh in on?
Yeah, I mean, I was not there today. I don't, but I see now the strategic reason why I was not. But no, but I default to saying the same thing. I think you both nailed it. I don't see how it's because we're not because we never required a land use clearance and this is a county issue. I don't even feel comfortable giving them a recommendation onto whether or not they should be changing their fee schedules or pursuing over. This is their until these are the issues that the town is taking on and we are running our own building permit program, I don't see how this is our matter to even recommend on, because it falls into their jurisdiction. So I would agree with what you guys said 100%.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from Marcia, Emily, and Brian is defer the fees issue to the county. Taking a note. I'm not going to weigh in on that matter. I declare that I have a conflict of interest here in that I'm one of the board members for the Bluff Community Foundation who has fundraised to help renovate this building, and so I don't want to weigh in on. I'd have a conflict of interest related to fees. The other matters are just related to the fact that the county wanted clarification from us about the land use clearance, which it sounds like we can reiterate from our past meeting, and the fact that what Sam sent us today, it shows that the total square footage of remodel is less than 2,000, meaning it does not need a land use clearance. We can confirm that doesn't need it. However, the county did request that a letter from an engineer be attached to the building permit before they approve it. And they were very clear that electrical work, including installation of mini splits, needs to be overseen by a master electrician. And so maybe we could discuss that too, how we want to sorry, I have a cold, talk to the county about those requests that they had.
Okay, then I'll start the circle again if you like.
Sure.
I believe that it goes with what we were talking about, which is if the county has requirements, then they need to be filled, and they don't need us. One of the things I think that we've discussed is in our land use clearance process, we only approve the idea of what's proposed based on our ordinances. Then it's handed off to building officials, and we are not building officials. So if in fact, I agree, if in fact we're handing this off to the building officials of San Juan County in this case, then they have to and should require anything that they need, and that's not on us. So my answer for you, Amanda, is to please tell them, proceed as your processes allow, and charge them what your processes also allow in terms of, the rest of it. So yes, they should get an engineer.
I don't know if I really have much to add to that, but that's, yes, agreed.
Brian, anything you want to add?
No, I'm on the same page again of that. This is just the county has to manage all that stuff. I don't until it's our business or until it's our responsibility. I don't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and I would agree. We can respond to the county that, and copy Sam and the building owner Sandy that if the county recommends that says there has to be a master electrician and that there needs to be an engineering letter sign off, then that's what is required. My last question for us then, not others can have other questions, but just in terms of the list I've been thinking through is a lot of work has been happening up to now without a building permit. And I'm not sure about the status of the mini splits, but that electrical work needs a building permit. Do we want to issue like a cease and desist letter so that no work is carried out until the building permit is secured? That is something within the authority of the town to do. Just curious how folks would, if that's something we feel is necessary to do at this point in time.
Sam did point out this afternoon, and we can ask, well, there are two things. The first one is, I believe that Sam said they had stopped work when all of this happened over these last couple of weeks. I will let Sam answer that. And then the second thing is, that Sam, if it's okay with you, Amanda, I would like to ask Sam to answer who is the contractor, the electrician, and all of that that's been going on. Do they have those people in line already, or is that something they're going to line up according to the request from the county? Sam, if you want to go ahead with that.
Yeah, so as far as the master electrician, we have Clarence Stash, which pretty much everybody in town knows. That's been with Red Mechanical for 25 years. And as far as the HVAC work goes, we have Mike McDonald, that's a licensed HVAC technician.
Okay, and the third one was, have you in fact stopped working while this investigation continues?
Yes, we have to an extent to where, you know, we're working on tile in the bathroom floor, which is obviously something that's, you know, cosmetic and just to keep progress going. That's not something that falls under the purview of permitting.
Okay, thank you for your answers. Amanda, go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Sam. So, did you say it was Clarence Stash at Red Mechanical?
That's correct.
Okay, great. So are they aware of the project? Have they been looped in already?
Yeah, Mike has been instrumental in the design and plan for the mini split system. And Clarence has been in and out of the building for since Leah owned it.
Okay, thank you. I think so. I understand what you're saying about the cosmetic work being conducted while the building permit is pending, but I think due to the engineering structural concerns with the county, maybe we should ask the county if a cease and desist is appropriate if they're concerned about safety in the building. I'm just not sure if they're, because the county is concerned about the roof that was already redone.
Right.
So they
and with
might
the roof,
prefer that it's
you know, that was only replacing the roof metal and no structural work or replacement of roof sheeting. None of that happened.
Well, Sam, I think this is where we get into the weeds. And what I mean by that is it is not up to the planning and zoning of Bluff to determine what it is that the engineers and inspectors, the building department people, it's not up to us to determine what it is that's causing their consternation that is bothering them. So if in fact,
Right.
you know,
And a good part of it, I think, stems from the fact that it was, you know, you guys met on it almost a year ago, and the building inspector actually completely forgot that you guys had issued a letter stating that there was no land use clearance necessary, etc. So that's part of what triggered the process here.
right. No, and I
Um,
agree. It sounds like there's been some, you know, some miscommunication and some time lapse communication. But I think I understand where Amanda is coming from and agree that maybe what we're saying is because there's more to this than just a mini split, because there is in fact an engineering discussion, that's where the cease and desist comes from, to say, hey, you can't work in the building till they issue the building permit that says everything is safe. So I think that's where she's coming from. And at this point, I would have to agree.
Oh, absolutely. And I just wanted to say my interpretation of the notes that Ben Tomko, our building inspector, had made on our permit application that was sent to you guys, really was more him wanting clarification from you guys, whether or not you thought that engineering was necessary because of the scope of work being what it is. And I feel like they were maybe trying to put liability on the town of Bluff to say, hey, this is not a major structural job. You know, and up for you guys to review whether or not it needed engineering.
And Sam, we had a follow-up conversation with Ben Tomko before he left the position. And he was more clear in that call that he will not recommend that the county issue a building permit until they have an engineer clear three things in particular: the roof work that was done, the concrete walls where you can sometimes see light through them, and the wooden beam out front of the big awning out front of it. And so that's definitive that they want to see like that engineering review. So I think that the question came to us if we wanted to ask that of you. It sounds like we're all wanting to defer to the county on this. So,
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm not sure what the reference is in regards to the wooden beam on an awning, but
It's the really large beam that's holding up the old gas station roof awning of that outdoor space. The fact that has had water damage, they want to have an engineer look at that.
oh, gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah, that falls outside of our scope of work, so I don't know if that would pertain to the project at hand. But yeah, definitely would
Okay.
be interested to see what the county has to say.
Yeah, I guess I wonder if it might be outside of the current remodel you're doing, but it might be necessary for the final certificate of occupancy. So,
Right.
That makes sense. I have a question. Hey, Sam, do you have an engineer that you typically work with?
I've only ran into it a few times since generally, I do residential work mainly, and engineering's only required by the county for commercial work. But yeah, I have worked with Jones and the Mill before.
Mhm.
So that's pretty much the only option for us.
Yep, I get that. Thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions? Otherwise, I think it might be helpful if we summarize our ultimate recommendations into a vote.
I don't think I have any further questions. I'm still pondering a cease and desist order. For the longest time, I thought that was a cease and resist order, and only in the last couple of years have I learned it's desist. Anyways, I'm still contemplating my thoughts on doing that because I'm wondering if that would be something that we need to issue and just with the support of the county, or if it's something that we can come to an agreement of, we're like, Sam, you agreed that you are going to wait to do anything until the county has that engineering paperwork, all the things that they're asking for. But it might not be a bad idea just so that things do get, just so that we do get that proper paperwork in place, just so that there is a paper trail. Because if the county is trying to put something on us, kind of to help cover ourselves. That's
I'm also
My-
oops, sorry.
No, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I would the other thing after hearing you guys talk about that, the beam being one of the major points of contention that the county brought up. I think that I also am hoping for clarification on that question you just posed of, is that something that is, if it's outside of the scope of the project that Sam is working on, is that something else that needs to happen before CO? And I want some clarification about whether or not how that intertwines into the scope of the work that's happening right now. And whether that's something that needs to happen just for the building to be used for commercial purposes, or if it's something that has to happen in conjunction with the current work. Because if he's not working on it, it may still need to happen, but is that something that, yeah, so that's something I would like clarification on.
Okay. So what I've heard from everybody, I want to try to summarize this. Hold on, make sure my recording's still going. Yep. Okay. My recommendation is that we contact the county and number one, say, we defer to them on the decision about fees until that is more clearly delegated to the town of Bluff, as we develop out a building department in the future. Two, we clarify, we state that no land use clearance is required. Three, we confirm with their recommendation that yes, the building permit is needed, a master electrician is needed to oversee some of the electrical work, and an engineering review is required for the three things the county recommended. 4, we asked the county if some cosmetic work can continue without the building permit, or if a cease and desist or pause in the work is necessary. To get their way in on what cosmetic work can still occur. And 5, get clarification from them on that outdoor wooden beam as to whether or not, if that's not part of the scope of work, if that would still be needed to be addressed for a CO.
That
So
was,
that was 5 things. Yeah, go ahead.
that was excellent, Amanda. And I just have one question for clarification. When you said the second thing about the first, whatever you said, first or second, the fees, according to the note, it was, do you want us to double the fees because they did so much work without a permit, which is, in my opinion, their enforcement or their punishment. My question is that their policy, or are they asking us to double their fees? We don't have any say over their fees. So make clear that they can charge whatever their fee structure is for either compensation for work done without a permit or whatever, or they can't. So we don't tell them that. That has to be based on their ordinance and policy.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I can be based on their policy. Okay.
Yeah, just based on
I didn't clarify that with the county. They said the doubling was warranted, but he didn't say whether or not it was based on policy. So
right. Well, I think
question.
if they said warranted, to me, that indicates consequences. You have consequences for not getting a permit when you were supposed to. And as we know from our discussions, that to us is a good consequence, or a suggested consequence. One of the suggestions we came up with was perhaps we increase the fees for people who didn't get a permit in time. So if that's their policy, great. Otherwise, that's up to them.
Yeah. And ultimately, what we are looking for is compliance. And so we are so thankful that you are here, Sam, so that we can bring you into compliance and so that you're willing to have this conversation, because based on what our lawyer said, that is our ultimate goal, is bringing people into compliance.
Right.
yeah.
Can I ask that in whatever you issue, email, letter, whatever to the county, that you note that you would like to defer to them on whatever engineering standards that they would like the county to adhere to? Because I know they did want some clarification on whether or not the job was considered major or less than major from you guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do we even have standards? I don't think
We-
that's
we-
even.
We don't. That's
Yeah,
under the
that's what
building.
I mean. Is like that seems like something that
Yeah.
they should it seems like strange asks.
Isn't
from the
it,
county.
isn't it,
It is 100%.
isn't it
100%. I feel like the county was trying to limit their liability and saying, well, we want the town of Bluff to say whether or not it's major or less than major, as far as the scope of work goes. So I feel like maybe it would be a good note to put in there that it's not up to you or however you feel, to say that, yeah, like I said, have them enforce whatever their standard is for engineering requirements.
Isn't it IBC, Sam? Isn't it the International Building
Well,
Code?
that falls under a different scope, in the fact that, yes, what the work performed that needs to be inspected has to adhere to the IBC. But as far as getting the engineering, is really up for interpretation to them, like I said, and them wanting to have Bluff basically take the liability of saying that, yes, it requires engineering, or no, it doesn't require engineering. So I feel like a good out for the town would be to tell them, use whatever the county requirements are for engineering.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have, I just feel like we don't have anything written in our, the only thing we have is the square footage cutoff that triggers like a more intense site review, but even then that's. So.
Yeah, and it's, hey, I'm good at finding new gray areas for the town, so.
Well, doing a little bit of Googling, or not Googling, San Juan County, Utah.goving, it looks like the building code that the county uses is the 2018 International Code Council. So for engineering, is probably going to be under the mechanical code. So it's the 2018 International Mechanical Code.
Right, and that would apply to the mini split systems. But as far as the finding out, hey, is this building structurally sound? Well, it's been here for 40 or 50 years, so obviously it is. But it's, up to them, or should be up to the county, since we're using all of their regulations, to say, hey, we want an engineer to come and inspect this.
Which
Or
may
not.
fall under, in their website, the 2018 International Existing Building Code issued by the International Code Council.
Right.
Yeah.
Some Googling.
So yeah, everybody's right. The county is currently our building department, and so they are the ones that hold the keys to these standards. So
Exactly.
we can
And
defer to
feel
them
like
on
they
that.
just need that in the letter from you guys stating that,
Mhm.
hey, this is your purview to enforce the engineering and however you see fit, since there is no building department for Bluff.
Great. Commissioners, would you like to add anything to the list of those 5 recommendations that we could put in a letter to the county?
I think it
make-
sounds great. I appreciate the way that you reworked what I had said. Thank you.
Then go for it, Malia, and I'll second it.
Oh gosh, can I make a motion to send the county the list of 5 things that Amanda had written down and stated earlier.
See, now,
Yes.
And Brian seconded it. We got it.
Great. Okay, any further discussion?
No, thanks, everybody.
I would
We'll
just,
get through
yeah, I
this
would add that I appreciate what Malia said about what we want in the town is compliance. And the reason we want compliance is first and foremost for health and safety. So appreciate everybody taking this seriously, and Sam, for you joining us tonight and answering our questions.
Absolutely.
Okay, with that, I
Thank
will
you.
call. Yep, so I'll call the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, motion passes with 4 ayes, none opposed. Thank you, everybody. I will work on this, contacting the county tomorrow. And I will CC folks on that when I get that through.
Fabulous.
Awesome. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
Sam.
you. Anything else under item 6 on our agenda?
Oh, let's keep moving.
Okay, all right. Item 7, election of planning and zoning officers. We elect folks for the chair and vice chair position. I believe that's all.
I nominate Amanda Podmore for chair.
Second.
Can I third that? Oh, wait, no.
Okay.
So, Amanda,
That was the motion.
Amanda, are you willing to stick with us? And
Yes, I can continue to be chair.
whew,
Yay!
So let me, yeah, I guess let me call that motion to a vote then. All in favor, say aye.
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 I'll vote aye as well. I appreciate that. Any opposed? No. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, everybody. For vice chair,
I motion Marcia Haydenfeld, vice chair.
Second.
great. So I'll open that
Marcia,
motion
you
up for
still want it?
discussion. Marcia, are you happy to continue?
Yes, I'm happy to continue. I appreciate the fact that you want me to.
Wonderful. Okay, I'll call the motion to a vote. All in favor of Marcia Haydenfeld as vice chair, please say aye.
I
Aye.
Aye. I'll do I too. Brian, that was a little sluggish. Is there something I should know?
Oh, no. I was just waiting until someone walked out of, I'm actually at the nursing station. I'm not in my car. So I was just waiting for someone to walk away.
No, it's
No, absolutely. I was mouthing it the whole time until I unmuted it.
It's okay. Thanks, Brian. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, you two, for being willing to continue chairing and vice chairing. You do a fabulous
Absolutely.
job.
Well, thank you for being the support crew.
Is there an
Yeah.
officer position for table maker?
The table maker.
The table
Oh, yeah.
maker? Can we, no, that's not an official position, is
That's
it?
a responsibility.
Yeah.
We could add it
Yeah,
to the
right,
bylaws.
Yeah, maybe that's one of our edits to the bylaw.
Okay.
Great.
I think I'm official.
Okay.
What is my role? I'm a scribe or something.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
part of it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that makes sense.
We're going to get you a feather pen.
Great.
That I can type my.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Oh,
can move on.
thanks.
Sorry.
Sorry. Just moving folks on, but we will make sure that our our roster, whatever list is updated. Okay, so item 8, goals for 2025. I know folks put a little thought into that. I think, as always, our thoughts with goal setting for the year is to be ambitious and realistic at the same time. So we'd love to come up with a list of a couple of goals for the year. Any folks want to share what they have thought of so far?
I do have some. Hang on, let's make this smaller. There we go. So I can see. If you want to, or my only suggestion for you, Ms. Amanda, is because it is 7:15, do you want to discuss these over our work session? Just have us send them to each other and then use this as part of our work session? Or would you like me to read the couple that I wrote?
I guess we could do it on a work session. Maybe we could start a Google Doc and start populating that.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
I can work on that.
I can send it out as an email to the 4 of us, and Malia, you can Google Doc it into the files, or I can, whatever. But I'll
I'd
send
love
it.
to. I'll
Okay.
put it on the table.
Okay. I will. I mean, it's fine. I was just being time conscious for you.
I like it.
Great. Okay. Then we'll move on to item 9. Our OPMA reminder, the Open Public Meetings Act please complete that training by our next first work session if you can. Big thanks to Marcia for finishing that already. Not sure if others have yet.
I never got a confirmation from Erin, so I hope it's in her files, but it's done.
Okay.
And Malia,
I believe we send them to Linda. I sent mine to Linda and she responded. quickly.
Okay.
So it might be that it goes to Linda.
I could do it again or whatever, or just remind Erin to give it to Linda.
Okay. And then we do put the years that we did OPMA trainings on our website for the public to know. Just FYI.
Okay.
Okay. Item 10 is items for our next agenda. So so we have a regular work session where we can potentially work on enforcement, RV ordinance potentially, and goals. Anything else for that work session?
I apologize in advance that I will not be there. I will be down in a canyon.
Oh, what bad excuse to miss a meeting. I've never done that.
Try to
Hmm.
get something done without me, but
Okay. Amanda, you
I
need
actually won't be there either.
Oh,
Well,
well, there's
Marcia, I was gonna be there, but I don't know if that's a official quorum.
and it is not a quorum.
he's not a quorum.
No. So let's so maybe we can or maybe now look for a different time for a special meeting and we can cancel that work session. I'm sorry, I have to present to my board at work that night. So
Okay, you need to be the one then how long are you gone, Malia? And you two need to be the ones who schedule this because it sounds like you're the wonkiest schedule. Because we want this special meeting to name our recommendation to the town council for a new member. And then we can take care of the rest of the schedule later.
I know it's soon, but I'm available next week because otherwise I'm leaving the 16th and I won't be back till March. So I'll be gone for like 2 weeks, a little over 2.
I'm around next week.
yeah, Brian, can you do next Thursday, same time?
Yes, I am free.
Wahoo! 2
Okay,
weeks in a row.
why don't we we'll cancel the 20th work session and reschedule a special meeting on 2/13 for
Okay,
the vote.
right. So 2/13 special meeting would only be open to the public comment and a vote on the recommendation to council and then the rest of this stuff could just wait till our next meeting. Is that correct?
No, I think let's go ahead and let's put some of these work session items on that agenda as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we could open and close a special meeting and just continue work session.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I like it.
Is that gonna be
Okay.
virtual or in person?
Virtual.
You'll,
Or well, do you want it in person? I guess we could do.
I want whatever works best for everybody.
I can
Virtual,
be either way.
I can be either way. And Luann has a hand up because about the date. Go ahead, Luann.
Just 2 things that I wanted to tell you. I did not mention that Erin is pushing us all to Zoom meetings. I don't know that it'll happen right away. I forgot I had it in my notes and read right over it, but we're not going to do Google Meets. They want $11 a user to keep that going a month. So it won't be Teams because Teams is another thing to add to our Microsoft. So we're going to transition to Zoom at some point. So I wanted you to all kind of be aware of that. And then the other thing is on your agenda, it still says that the requests are due by 5 on Wednesday preceding the public meeting of Wednesday. So it just needs some little update since you switched to Thursday. Otherwise, you're going to get people wanting things Wednesday for the next meeting, which is the next day.
Thank
This is
you
the
for
way I
mentioning
read it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so And Amanda, it also says Wednesdays on our, on the bottom of the agenda that you've been using.
That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
I don't know if it's anywhere else.
yeah. No,
Okay.
good catch.
Oops.
But anyway,
Catch. Thanks.
sorry for the interruption, but I forgot it.
Oh, thank you. I will touch base with Aaron about Zoom to see if we're transitioning to that already, but, yeah, do we want to do in person for a work session?
No, I think we're good,
That's
just
the
meeting
piece.
virtually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Virtual. Okay. We'll do
And it-
virtual. Okay.
And Amanda, are you going to be posting all of those changes then?
Yeah, I will be posting the cancellation for the 20th and posting for the 13th, excuse me.
Great, great.
Fabulous.
Great.
Something
Okay.
for next agenda, thinking about it, the proposed generational transfer that's been discussed.
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm
right.
curious about that and
You're
have
right.
things to add.
That was good, Malia. I forgot we were going to talk about that. Good catch. That
Well,
it was,
yeah, we could discuss that. We could move to item 11 other.
Okay.
Because I think the latest on that, so for the record, and for the public, someone asked if they could transfer a short-term rental license in a residential area to another member of their family in the event that they sell that property to their family. Currently, the short-term rental ordinance does not allow for transfers of short-term rental ordinances even within family. So the town had initially asked us to look at that. Because the town issued the short-term rental ordinance and manages the licenses, not planning and zoning, we suggested that the town consider that, and I believe Anne was taking that back onto their agenda and their plate. How does folks feel about that?
I think
we
that's
could just-
exactly right. I think that's, we wrote the ordinance and gave it to them and they, tweaked it the way they wanted. And then, or we didn't write it. We helped figure out some short-term rental stuff, gave it to them to write. And when they tweaked that, it's their ordinance, not ours. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
I think it makes sense to send it to town, but I also wonder if that was town, I guess it wasn't officially town asking us, do you want to rework your short-term rental ordinance? Which personally, I do not. And I feel like if this individual would like to pursue that, then it might be a variance. And then it would be something that they could turn into us that we could then discuss. But other than that, I don't know if it's really much that's on our table or on our plate.
And it wouldn't qualify as a variance and we don't even have those. So yeah.
Yeah.
It goes back to the town. Good. Good remembering, Malia.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for remembering that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I'm not quite sure if, I guess STRs I guess we just need clarification if it's a land use issue for planning and zoning to address or the town, because the town is the one that wrote that ordinance and manages the licenses and everything. So they could kick it back to us. They just need to decide, I guess. We're punching it back and forth, but yes. Yeah, I guess Luann, if you wouldn't mind taking this discussion back to the town council when it comes up on your agenda.
Okay, yeah, I will take it back. And I was trying to look through my notes, but we had that question to Chris in our joint work session. And I guess because it was whether something that was non-conforming could carry on as long as it stayed in the same use. And he said, yes, you can keep doing it even at a sale, was what he had said. And whether that applies to the short-term rentals or not is another question. Do you remember that, Marcia?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm just shaking my head, Luann, because the only reason I'm acknowledging it is to say that it specifically says this license is non-transferable, meaning it's not non-conforming or anything else. It is a business license that you cannot transfer. So exactly. I don't believe it falls under non-conforming.
Well, I think
Yeah.
what my question is, I guess, is whether what he said about continuing use when a sale happens, if there's some reason that it doesn't follow that way with a short-term rental, because it's probably an ordinance that we need to look at after he gave us that advice to make sure we can say that it is, you can't take it on to the next owner, whether it's a family member or not, because he said that you can't do that with other things that are in existence.
I see where you're going with the
Yeah.
question, but I have to say that if you write it as non-transferable, I think we're covered, but that's fine. I understand what your question is.
Okay. Well, we could put this on our next regular meeting agenda if there's updates about it, so. Wonderful. Okay, any other things under item 11 other?
I don't think so. I motion to adjourn this long meeting.
I second it, and it was an excellent meeting. 'cause
was.
I
we-
concur.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Yeah, we knew it'd be long, but it was important that we get through a lot of these things. So thanks, everybody. Vote or call the vote to adjourn to order. Or call, sorry, I'm tired. Call
I
the,
got you.
call the vote.
Goodbye.
All in
Yes.
favor, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All right.
We do the
Good night,
voting
everybody.
thing.
Yep.
Good night.
Awesome.